Munsey, and you're watching WNN War News Now. Today we have a special for you on World War II and some of its key events during the war. First up is Julia, who is going to be bringing us information on the invasion of Ethiopia.
On October 3, 1935, the Italian invasion of Ethiopia began. An imperial grab for Africa ruined the League of Nations intentions and caused this event to happen. Italy invaded Abyssinia, which is now Ethiopia, to boost Italian national prestige. Salvini proclaimed that it was the first fascist aggression. On May 5, 1936, it ended, resulting in Ethiopia's subjection to Italian rule.
Thanks, Julia. Next we have Jack reporting from Dunkirk.
Today I'm here on the beaches of Dunkirk, France, to describe the truly special story of the evacuation that took place here in the spring of 1940. Named Operation Dynamo, plans for the evacuation of the trapped French, Belgian, and British began on May 21st when they were first cornered against the northern coast of France. Luckily for them, the Nazi military called for a 3-day halt on the 23rd, which allowed for the Allies to better plan an escape. The evacuation began on the 27th, but the 28th was the first full day, and it consisted of the evacuation of 7,669 soldiers over the British Canal by way of boat. That same day, the French First Army began to delay the ever-advancing Nazi military in the Battle of Dunkirk. Over the next week, British naval destroyers, Canadian naval destroyers, alongside other naval forces, helped to evacuate the soldiers stranded on the beaches of Dunkirk. The British government also reached out to the citizens of Britain to help sail the soldiers across the canal. The little ships of Dunkirk consisted of merchant marine boats, fishing boats, pleasure boats, yachts, and even lifeboats, all of which contributed to the rescue of 338,226 troops in about 8 days. On the last day of the evacuation, June 4th, 1940, Winston Churchill addressed the public in a speech in which he stated that wars are not won by evacuations. And so, the war continued.
Now we have a special interview with Trevor on Pearl Harbor.
On December 7th, 1941, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and it was devastating, killing many people. Now, Mr. Wright,
Yes.
do you believe that the U.S. knew we were going to be attacked?
I believe that there was intelligence out there that some sort of attack was possible. There had been threats that had been made, and so I feel like we were expecting something, but I don't know as I believe that we were expecting when or where it was going to happen. But there was definitely information there that we needed to be concerned about leading up to the attack.
So, there was eight U.S. naval ships that were located in Pearl Harbor, and all 8 were either sunken or heavily damaged. Based on that, as an estimation, how many people do you think were killed?
The casualty count? The casualty count was in the thousands. The devastation was massive. I mean, you talked about the ships that were sunk and the sailors that were trapped on those ships because it was early in the morning. They were sleeping, a lot of them. So a lot of soldiers were trapped. So maybe it wasn't from the explosions per se, but from drowning. I would say definitely in the thousands in terms of casualties.
So the exact number is 2,335.
Okay.
Do you think it was the right decision to bomb them after Pearl Harbor?
To use the atomic bombs?
Yes.
That is a question that I've thought about a lot every year that I teach. I think about it, and every year I find it harder and harder to decide one way or the other. The one thing I keep coming back to is that we didn't know the magnitude of the bombs. We had detonated them in tests, but we had never detonated them with civilians or with people at risk.
You want me to do the entire
And obviously, the consequences of that were massive. It ended the war, which is a good thing. It did limit American lives lost, which is a good thing. And the other thing that it did was it really gave us an idea of what atomic warfare is like, and hopefully we can continue to remember the results of the atomic bomb when other
Don't do it. I swear to
nuclear
God.
possibilities present themselves.
Do you know of any relatives that were wounded or killed in this bombing?
Any of my relatives?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any relatives there. My grandfather was in the Navy, but he was not in Pearl Harbor. I had a couple of relatives that served in Europe during the war, but no, nobody was at Pearl Harbor.
Okay, thank you for your time. That's the end of the interview.
So, I'll be bringing you information on VE Day and how it all happened. On April 28th, Italian leader Benito Mussolini is executed, leaving German dictator Hitler to fend on his own without the important ally. The following day, Hitler prepares his political testament of how Germany failed him against the Bolsheviks and marries Eva Braun. The following day, on April 30th, the newlyweds head to a bunker, where inside the two commit suicide. On May 1st, Hitler's death was announced on the German Hamburg radio. The news of Hitler's death traveled quickly to other countries in the world. 7th of May, German Grand Admiral Dantes was ordered to Eisenhower's headquarters in Russia, where he faced the USA, France, Great Britain, and the USSR, and was forced to surrender unconditionally to the Allies. Although the victory really was on the 7th, people started celebrating when it was announced on May 8th. There was over 1 million people in the UK who celebrated on the streets, as others around the world were celebrating too, because the Third Reich's long-awaited end was here. Our last story today is covered by Gabby on the atomic bombs dropped on Japan in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
One of the most unforgettable events in World War II history happened on August 6th and August 8th of 1945. These dates marked the bombing of the two Japanese cities called Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The United States called this the Manhattan Project. The first atomic bomb ever dropped was on the city of Hiroshima on August 6th and was dropped by the United States. The code name of this bomb was Little Boy, and it was 9,000 pounds. Little Boy exploded 2,000 feet above Hiroshima. Roughly 138,000 people died in this bombing. The last bomb dropped was on August 9th. It was over the city of Nagasaki. This bomb's code name was Fat Man and weighed 10,000 pounds. Around 80,000 people died from this bombing. This was very devastating, and many believe the United States did it in response to Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor.
Thanks for watching. See you next time on More News Now.